Good morning and welcome to Market Opening on our brand new collab show between Business Today and India Today TV. It's just after 9 a.m. and we're here to get you ahead of the curve as markets kick off trading for the day. From the big overnight queues on Wall Street and global markets to the buzz around corporate earnings, policy moves and stock-specific action. We'll break it all down so you know exactly what to watch out for. Stay tuned as we track the Sensex, the Nifty and the stories that will drive the market mood today, and catch us again at market closing with my colleague Sakshi Batra. We've got you covered. First, let's take a look at what's hot in the corporate and financial space this morning. Donald Trump keeps the tariff suspense alive. First, warns of new tariffs against India and China. Tells Europe he will slap 100% tariffs if EU nations do so as well. Then tweets that the US is continuing trade talks with India and he will speak to his very good friend Prime Minister Modi in the next few weeks. Modi, in response, calls India and the US close friends and natural partners, confident the trade talks will unlock limitless potential. Turbo Tuesday on Wall Street last night, with all three major indices hitting record highs. The bullish sentiment arising out of hopes that the Fed will cut rates next week, and that sentiment continuing with lower than expected jobs data failing to foul the mood. Asian markets also opening in the green. Three main board public issues: Urban Company, Dev Accelerator and Shringar House of Mangalsutra opening for subscription today. The companies are raising nearly 2,500 crore rupees from the market. Grey market premiums ranging between 15% from Shringar to 35% for Urban Company. Big relief for manufacturers and retailers who were left in a bind after the recent GST rate cut announcement. A notification has allowed manufacturers to revise MRP on unsold stock. This can be done by stamping and putting new stickers on packaging. There is a condition: both the old and new prices have to be clearly visible. Apple lifts the cover off its iPhone 17 series, discontinues the Plus models but adds a new member to the family, the iPhone Air. New iPods Pro 3 and Watch 11 also rolled out. Apple keeps prices steady as tariff wars play out globally. Investors not too impressed. Stock down 1.5% despite all the new launches. All right, well, lots of news to track overnight on global markets. Let's pull up some of those indices for you and see where we're at. In fact, as we just heard, with some of the news around tariffs as well, we will expect to see some boost here in the Indian markets this morning, that on the back of pure sentiment. Let's pull up the global market indices and the action overnight, and then we'll kind of take a look at some of the stocks that are likely to be in focus this morning as well. S&P 500 moderately up, so with the Nasdaq, Dow also up close to 0.5% or so. So steady ticks on Wall Street. And let's pull up Asia for you this morning as well. And of course, the tech stock continuing to look good outside of Apple, where clearly investors are still looking out for something more from the tech giant. Let's pull up Asia this morning for you as well and see where that's trading at. And in the meanwhile, let me also go across to Shailendra Bhatnagar, Chief Analyst and Editor Markets, Business Today TV. Shail, good morning. Watching out for a gap up on the index this morning. We're already seeing a good uptick in pre-open, whether it's on the back of tariffs or whether it's on overall sentiment. What are you going to be watching out for today?
Good morning, Abha. I think the best thing to happen today would be a close above 25,000. This was something which is sorely missed in the market. A lot of people have noticed that over the last 5 days, every single day, the Nifty has closed in the green. But the gains have been capped at about 25,000, and that's mainly because you've had a very, very strong rally in gold and silver, and a lot of speculative interest has moved away from equities into precious metals. So what is actually happening today is that you probably will see a reversal of trade in gold and silver. Profit booking will happen there, and we will see all of that money or some of it to start coming towards equities, mainly because of the thaw that's happened between the India and the US, and of course the GST rejig. So I'm hoping for a close above 25,000 today. Already the index is up 122. The Nifty Bank has added 340 and the IT index is up 173. So a good start, a green start, and a strong start for the sixth day in a row for the Nifty. Abha.
Absolutely. And IT clearly shaking off any of those concerns around taxes on outsourcing companies. We've got 25,000 to watch out for. Investors will also take note of the fact that, yes, some amount of profit booking expected on gold and silver out of those outstanding highs that they've seen in the last few weeks or month. Let's also take a look at some of the other stocks in news for you, and then I'll go back across to Shell. But JP Power, Kotak Alternate has bid about 74 billion for Jayaprakash Power Ventures, and we'll take a closer look at this deal in a short while. Bajaj Auto, of course, will also be passing on full GST cut to customers. In fact, most of the auto companies, M&M also included, have been announcing this. LTI Mindtree has extended its strategic partnership with OKQ8, so keep an eye on LTI Mindtree this morning as well. Sterling and Wilson Solar, big order coming in there for that company for a project in Rajasthan, so we'll keep an eye on that. And Sun Pharma, the Halol facility, has got an approval from the US FDA. It's actually an import alert coming in from the OAI. So Sun Pharma perhaps a little bit on the downtick today. We'll keep an eye, a close watch on that one from the Pharma pack. Mumbai Railway Vikas Corporation has also invited bids for the Vande Metro coaches, and the contract size is about 21,000 crore rupees. So we'll be keeping an eye on some amount of traction coming in there as well. But let me go across to Shell on the JP deal. Shell, just take us through this. We've got Vedanta looking to acquire, JP Associates. We knew that, of course, the JP firm was debt-ridden, but it's a very complex deal. Just take us through what it will mean for a retail investor who's either looking at JP or looking at Vedanta.
Well, Abha, as we can make out, there has been a muted reaction on Vedanta emerging as a winner in this 17,000 crore rupee NCLT-led transaction for buying out the assets of the JP Group. Now, the reason why it's muted is because this is an unrelated diversification for Vedanta. They are into metals and mining. JP Associates is into real estate. Nevertheless, here is what is most likely to happen. So it's not 17,000 crore rupees that Vedanta has to pay immediately. It's just 4,000 crore rupees, and the rest over 5 years in an equal installment. Abha, as you and I and many of our viewers know, JP Associates has perhaps the best real estate piece in Delhi and NCR, 4,000 contiguous acres, and this is what Vedanta is trying to monetize with land deals with other real estate players like Sobha, like maybe Brigade Enterprises, maybe DLF. This was something that was planned earlier but was not happening. Now look at it from the point of view of all those people who had bought flats, were not given anything, were still paying EMIs. So those people will now get flats, which is a very, very big positive. Vedanta will get a diversification which probably will make it more money. It also gets cement plants of JP Associates worth 10 million tons per annum, 5 hotels, and of course this 400-acre property in Delhi and NCR, and of course that 2,200 megawatt power plant. So if you look at it very quietly from a distance, this is a win-win deal, especially for banks which had JP Power, JP Associates as non-performing assets. Now those will be deemed as correct assets. So this is a win-win, except for JP Associates shareholders who probably don't get anything. I think in the longer term, you will see a lot of positivity for people who had ordered flats but didn't get any. Banks whose NPAs will now improve. Vedanta, which gets a diversified product in its hand. And of course, promoters of JP Associates who have now got rid of this pain point in their life. Abha.
Great, Shell. Thanks for breaking down that deal for us, and also a real estate play emerging there. Clearly, that's something that is also a structural play in the overall market. We're just counting down to open. I want to introduce Sharad Avasthi, Head of Research, PCG at Smiths. Sharad, good morning. Just a few seconds to go. So first, I just want a quick take from you, and then I'll come back post the opening bell. But on sentiment, expecting a gap up in 25,000 today.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, certainly. I think the whole atmosphere is very positive considering the way tweets are going. But the type of experience we have had with these tweets, particularly from the US side of the party, I think it could change very soon. So I would not want to assign too much positivity to it. But certainly for today's market, it's a very welcome move.
Okay, so still cautious on the Trump back and forth, but there you have it. The opening bell, Nifty up 0.5%, 24,967, just inching up towards that 25,000 mark right now. But a clear opening in the green. Nifty Bank also very positive this morning, up close to 0.5% there. Overall, Nifty IT also shaking off any earlier concerns, up about 0.8% this morning. So looking strong, as Shell had also just anticipated. Let's pull up some of the other names. Auto continues its steady uptake, continuing to pass on some of those GST benefits to passengers, and immediately financials. So Kotak Mahindra also in the news, of course. This morning, lots of deal action coming in. L&T is trending higher, Adani Enterprises, BEL. So lots of top movers for you on your screen there. Dr. Reddy's, TCS, it's across the board really this morning. Clearly, we're seeing action across all of the segments right now. We've got Trent, Adani Enterprises, a whole bunch of these stocks that are actually seeing some amount of moves coming in early morning trade, and strong moves at that as well. So good amount of volume action on the Nifty, and inching up, in fact, as we speak. So 24,980 is, we just saw it touch that as well, and we're just watching to see if we hit that 25,000 mark, which doesn't look so difficult in today's trade. So that's really where we're standing. What's standing out to you on opening, Shell?
I think Abha will focus at banks, which you've already marked, Kotak and HDFC Bank. I'll also mark Vikram Solar. This is a recently listed IPO. Very, very strong results. 1134 crores is the top line for June 2025 versus 631 crores a year ago. So almost doubling, and net profit at 133 crores versus 23 crores a year ago, sequentially 91 crores. So that's doing phenomenally well. I'll also mark 2 or 3 stocks which have hit all-time highs. Bosch from the auto ancillary space, 1% higher. Muthoot Finance, again, no surprise here, gold financing company. Maruti and JSW Steel. So 4 stocks hitting record highs. Let's get Sharad's view into sentiment on Dalal Street today. Sharadji, your views for the rest of the day?
Yeah, I think largely positive. Maybe we rally another 100, 150 points, and then maybe we see some cautiousness coming back into it, and maybe we end the day more or less flattish kind of. But yeah, certainly I think to start with, the first half should largely be very positive. We could see another 100 points on the Nifty. But beyond that, I think sustaining it would depend on the follow-up that we receive over the next few days in terms of the trade deals.
Right. Sharad, let's touch upon some of those pockets that are seeing some action this morning, and lots to talk about. Financials, banks, let's pull that up as well. We were, of course, just talking about, JP Power and Vedanta and that deal and how that's likely to impact some of the banks involved positively. There was also news this morning on perhaps once again the government looking into public sector banks and some reforms there. What do you feel is driving some of those financials higher? Is it again more a sentiment impact on the back of what we're seeing on the reform agenda, consumption, the likelihood of perhaps rates coming down?
Yeah, I think all these factors would substantially aid it. We are more or less getting confirmation that we are looking at a 25 basis point rate cut from the Fed. On the optimistic side, if it goes up to 50 basis points, I think you could celebrate it further. On the Indian bond side also, I think the movement has been restricted. The Indian central bank is not being able to cut rates in spite of low inflation because of the gap between US and India, movement. So I think once that sync happens and US starts cutting rate, you could also be seeing at a lower trajectory in India also. So that should be positive for bond rates. Means yields would naturally come down, so prices would go up. And I think secondly, on the whole banking side, if you look at the whole setup, I think because of this 15th August announcement, a bit of the consumption revival would have been delayed. But I think next quarter it's going to look very strong. The pay commission impact, the income tax relief impact, NBFC relaxation. I think combine all this and maybe Q3 onwards, the numbers even would start to look very rosy for the market. So I think yeah, we are probably preparing the ground for a very strong 6 to 7 months.
Great. Let's pull up IT, and why are we seeing some of these IT names buzzing today? Some on a buyback buzz as well. Infy had announced a buyback just about 2 days ago. Shell, is that really what's driving the action this morning? And then I'll bring Sharad in on perhaps what are some of his favorites in that pack.
Yes, absolutely, Abha. It's the buybacks that are announced by IT companies which are holding up sentiment. Remember, because of this fear of artificial intelligence, a lot of IT stocks like TCS, Infosys, Wipro had corrected anywhere between 30 to 40% from their all-time highs, and this is where deep value is emerging. These are debt-free companies. These are companies with billions of dollars worth of cash on their balance sheet, and now they are deploying it sensibly to reduce equity float, which will improve the EPS. And once EPS grows up, the PE automatically changes. That's the reason why you see a 572-point uptick on the Nifty IT index. Remember, it rose about 900, 700 points yesterday. So these are deep value stocks where sensible long-term investors like Sharadji often hunt. Sharad, coming to you, any value that you see in TCS, in particular Infosys, Wipro, given the buyback that Infosys has announced?
Yeah, I think not depending on the buyback particularly, Shailji. I think largely if you look at margin of safety in terms of valuation comfort, if you want to go with a frontline name, Infosys remains our top bet. But if you want to purely bet on valuations and the type of future outlook that we look at, I think becomes a very good contender at these valuations. And I think they have some exposure to the data center part of the story also that should play out over the longer term. So I think at these valuations, if I had to pick one name within the IT space, frontline stocks, I think rather than TCS or Infosys, I would be more bullish on Wipro from current valuations. But
Okay.
if you want to play a bit safe and you don't want to take that risk, I think then Infosys probably is the best bet to play on.
Okay, we've clearly got a very strong opening coming in this morning. Market breadth is looking absolutely fantastic. Advanced decline ratio really strong. Let me also pull up Kotak Mahindra Bank because we're seeing a bulk deal coming in there, and we've actually had Japan Sumitomo Mitsui exiting Kotak ahead of the Yes Bank stake purchase. That's possibly what this is. 1.62% equity traded in 31 blocks. So Kotak Mahindra is up about 1%. It's been up since the opening bell, in fact, Shail. So that's really the buzz there. Anything that's standing out to you on the charts for a Kotak Mahindra this morning?
Was that to me?
All right. I'll go back across to Shail in just a moment, but keep an eye out on banks, financials, Kotak Mahindra Bank in particular on the back of that bulk deal. And we'll come back and take a look at some of the other movers in a moment. But let me bring you all the latest on Trump because clearly sentiment is driving action on the Lal Street this morning. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has welcomed Donald Trump's offer for renewed trade talks, responding to an overnight social media post by the US president that the two countries are continuing negotiations to remove trade barriers. The Prime Minister said the talks will pave the way for unlocking limitless potential of the partnership. Modi also reverted to Trump, saying that he was looking forward to speaking to his very good friend, Prime Minister Modi, in the coming weeks. The latest social media exchange comes in the wake of various taunts, jibes, and threats by the Trump administration. But the expectations of renewed trade talks were dampened by Trump's interview to Financial Times, where he asked the European Union to hit India and China with 100% tariffs to counter Russia, pressing for a joint transatlantic effort to cut Russia's oil revenues and intensify economic pressure on Vladimir Putin. All right, so the Trump back and forth continues, and I think Sharad, referred to this first thing. He said, I'll see a gap up today. I'm really not sure what will happen tomorrow. But Sharad, what are you looking at in the market structurally as an overall strategy, not for a day to day, but from a longer term perspective, for let's say a retail investor who's perhaps looking to buy in at dips or buy in at these levels, where would you say is a good opportunity right now?
Yeah, I think specific approach, you would have a lot of good ideas to bet on. I think as you were mentioning during the opening, Dr. Reddy's as these valuations is a good bet. The type of developments that are coming out of Russia, they have some tie-ups with them also, and the generics portfolio there would do good. The biosimilars portfolio could do good. Similarly, a Biocon could be a good story to look at. And overall, I think the view would be, that over the next 6 to 9 months, largely we are positive. Something like a Praj Industries, which has corrected substantially, that could be a good story to bet on. Compressed biogas is a big opportunity for them. SAF is a big opportunity for them. Ethanol blending is again being talked of in diesel also. So I think these are good opportunities that you can look at. But stock specific, I think there are a number of stories that you can look at within the mid cap, small cap basket.
Okay, great. Let me also go back to Shell for a moment. You know, lots of action, Shell, across the board. We're seeing all 19 indices in the green. How often does that happen? Well, reasonably often. But let's discuss some of the pockets there, IT in particular, because that's looking really good this morning.
Absolutely, Abha, you hit the nail on the head. It's IT and IT alone. You see a very, very sharp rally coming into stocks like TCS. Infosys is up 1.2%. TCS has added 1.5%. Smaller IT stocks like Coforge and Persistent, which have been long-term multi-baggers over the last 5-7 years, are also in top shape. Look at Persistent, 3% higher, and look at Coforge, almost 3% higher. And this is across the board. The best thing that a simple investor at this point of time can do is look at the Nifty ITBs ETF. This is a simple product which has a lot of IT companies in it. It's priced at about 39 rupees. And given the way how ETFs move at a time when the entire sector is likely to be in a sustained upturn, this would be the most sensible thing to do. Let's get Sharad's opinion on this one as well. Sharad, the Nifty ITBs or any particular IT stock that you would prefer at current levels?
No, I think Nifty ITBs, if you want to play the IT space, that's a good bet to have. But particularly stock-wise, I think the type of uncertainty we are seeing from US and, even if a rate cut happens, then you start talking about a recession. And in case US and EU bundle up, you don't know what they end up doing. So I think we would rather want to bet on a domestic IT name. So Orient Tech is one small company which is largely domestic in nature. Most probably the second half for them would be much better. So that is one small cap company that we are looking at. And within the frontline names, as we discussed earlier, I think Wipro is a good name to have on your side. And for structural improvements, I think LTIM and Tech Mahindra could be good names to have on your side.
Great. Sharad, thanks so much for joining us. Shell, thanks for taking us through all the big movers this morning. And also keep an eye on perhaps some of those life insurance stocks. Lots of positive brokerage calls coming in across the board on life insurance as well. But before we leave, here's what Apple enthusiasts were waiting for all year. The new iPhone 17 series was revealed on Tuesday night at Cupertino. The new lineup has the brand new iPhone Air instead of the iPhone 17 Plus. The phones are available for booking from the 12th of September and will be available from the 19th. Also launched new AirPods Pro and the new Apple Watch 11 series. While there's no increase in prices in the US, a small exchange-related hike has been announced for India. The base version is priced up to 1,03,000 rupees, while the top version, the 17 Pro Max with a 2 TB storage, goes up to 2,30,000 rupees. Here's a short report from our correspondent Cyrus John, who's in Cupertino.
All right, guys, this is me giving you a quick look at the new iPhone 17 that's been launched here at the Apple event. Now, giving you a quick lowdown, 6.3 inches display. Again, this is a ProMotion display that they have introduced. 120 hertz is what all of the iPhones now get. Moreover, the front kind of looks very similar to the older iPhone 16, but just like taking you behind the iPhone is what everybody is interested in. This is the rear camera system, 48 megapixels at the top and 12 megapixels at the bottom. They are using a new ceramic shield, which again is offering you more endurance. But again, the new A19 chipset is what people are talking about. You get multiple color variants for the new iPhone 17. This is again a new color. The inside, the battery again has been more I would say enhanced in terms of its overall efficiency. The iPhone Air that I am giving you a preview of, and this has been launched starting at $999. Now it comes with a 6.5-inch display, but the back plateau is what people are talking about. This is a very thin phone. I'm giving you a first look of the device right here at the Steve Jobs Theatre. Now, in terms of the camera, this is a 48 megapixel camera. They're using ceramic shield for protection. It comes with an A19 chipset. In terms of the color, you have plenty of options, and it is very thin, 5.6 millimeters thin, and this is what the front of the display looks like. Again, 3000 nits. This is one of the brightest iPhones that you are getting, but very thin. We cannot actually touch the device here, but yeah, this is what the entire iPhone Air architecture looks like.